What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the podcast. So this podcast is the number one podcast for mental health and wellness. I'm Anthony.
I'm Barron.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to another week. So we are in the house with some special guests, some good friends of mine, Mr. and Mrs. Aaron and Alayna Elam. Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys.
What's up? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing well. So thanks for coming. This is an important show, important topic because our focus is mental health. Our focus is men, but we know the mental health thing is something that's amazing and affects every gender. So you and I were talking at the last meeting, and you were telling about what you guys were doing, and you made a massive shift, right? You were in a certain business. One, you're a firefighter, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a man of God, and
That's
I know
a lot of hats.
a lot of hats, and I know you as well, Alayna, is that you did so much as far as traveling back and forth to LA, and so you guys have done a whole lot, right? And I watched you guys over the years, raise your family, do great things. So tell me a little bit about first, how you got into the home business, right? And then let's talk about the mental health business.
Yeah, do you want to start? I can summarize it real quick. But
Ladies first.
yeah, go ahead.
No pressure.
Okay. All right. So we both come from the 9 to 5 world, basically. Right out of college, I got into human resources. So I've been in human resources for 20 years, kind of worked my way up in there. Started as an analyst, and then after 10 years, I started running human resources at the LA County District Attorney's Office. So, yeah, big job. I was commuting. We lived in LA, but I was commuting back and forth.
Right.
We moved to Moreno Valley. I was commuting for 5 years to downtown LA. Yes, and we have 4 kids.
Every day.
Every day.
I only did it. How many years did you do that for?
5 years.
I did it for 3 months. Kudos to you.
5 years, but I was on the train, and I love the train. But then you hit the time where the train breaks down, and
It's all bad. Yeah.
And then the kids are at home,
Yeah.
and trying to come back to get them in baseball and football and all these things. It just wasn't happening.
Right.
So yes, I did that for 5 years while Aaron was becoming a firefighter. So we both were like in LA, and he was in the academy to be a LA City firefighter. And so our moms held it down.
Right.
In Moreno Valley, we had to lean on
It's a good village.
our moms. So I've got a background in HR, professional singer, and then from the 9 to 5, yes, we got into, because we both were making really big paychecks, and we were like, what are we doing with this? What we need to build a legacy for our family, for our kids. We wanted to learn investing and get into real estate. And so we took the challenge to take a risk. We're both risk takers, which could be a good thing and a bad thing.
On this show, it's a good thing. Yeah.
So we both took the risk to, while we were doing our 9 to 5, start taking some classes on investing in real estate. And one of the things one of the classes we took was real estate, kind of philanthropic real estate. And so we learned how to do housing and purchase real estate while reaching out to the homeless population, veteran population, reentry population. And we loved social housing. We loved that idea that we could make money but also give back. So that's how we got into it. And our initial plan was to house veterans because Aaron is a 12-year veteran of the Air Force, disabled veteran of the Air Force. So that's how we got into it. And we did it for 4 years, housed over 100 men, women, kids.
It's been 4 years?
4 years,
Oh, wow.
4 and a half.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And so that's where we started, was house mainly men. We, for some reason, we mainly housed men, mainly housed men on Social Security, older men.
Okay.
And so it was almost like a social experiment to how not only getting the realization of the homeless crisis in America. We say everybody thinks the homeless people are the ones holding up the sign. Homeless people are everywhere. They are sitting next to you in your desk. They are showering at LA Fitness, and they have full-time jobs.
Crazy.
And people don't realize it. They're living in their car. And we house those folks. So they are everyday people. Some of them have, they were in jail at some point. Some of them have addictions, and so we did have to get into getting folks into rehab and folks coming in and out of rehab. So blinders are off now.
Yeah.
All that we learned. So that's kind of how we started. You
What
wanna
what
continue?
made you go solely for the men? I'm just curious.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, everybody told us don't open a women's home.
Okay. Okay.
That's what everybody told us. Don't open a women's home. We said why?
Right.
So we know why, but but in the beginning it was just to kind of get our feet wet. So
Yeah.
we said, okay, let's go with men. And men, people don't realize men, and it really was a social experiment. Men, as you get older, if you don't have a good relationship with your family, you're kind of out there.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have a good job, you didn't have retirement,
Yeah.
Social Security, like a lot of these people are getting $974 a month.
Crazy.
How do you live off of that?
Yeah.
You can't live anyway
Yeah,
off of that.
yeah.
Not
and
at
so
all.
we would house these folks getting their $974. We rented out rooms, 2 people to a room, assisted them with getting food, assisted them with getting benefits, assisted them in so many different ways. But yeah, once we got, we had Salvation Army, Department of Public Social Services, and so they kept sending us a lot of men, and so that was the main funnel was men. But of course, I'm a woman, and I
Right.
said, well, let's try a women's home.
Right. You
And
want to
then
help
we
your own.
Then we realized, oh, this is why.
This is why. But you would have never known that if you didn't try.
I would have never known.
Yeah.
And we still helped. I mean, we were able to reunite one of our homes. We had a lot of women who were coming out of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get their kids back through the court system,
Wow.
but they needed a stable home. And so it was exciting to not only give a woman, we did that a few times where we gave the mom a stable home. And then through the court system, we were able to, kind of advocate for them to get their
Right.
kids back. And so the kids actually lived in our home. We had one of our house managers, the mom was there, and then like a couple months in, we got her first kid, and then a few months in came her second child, and so it was just beautiful
Yeah,
to see.
So you guys were bringing families together.
Bringing families
Yes,
together.
yes. That's dope. That's dope. I like that.
Yeah. So one of the things I think that inspired us to do housing, first of all, part of my story is I was actually homeless at 17 in LA with my family.
Wow.
My family had a fallout with the family we were supposed to stay with, and long story short, we ended up homeless, and then we ended up getting out of it, and I ended up in Long Beach. My last year of high school, I graduated from Long Beach Poly in '99. And so I always had that in the back
You went
of
to
my
Poly?
head. I
Okay.
did.
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay.
But I went there my senior year, so a lot of people didn't know me, but I made a lot of friends that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that really impacted me as I went forward. When we got out of that homeless situation, a lot of it was because of just, the God in me, obviously, right, leading me to the people that could help. That could help, because at that time, because of the mental health, I guess, how would you say it, generational impact that it's had on my family. My mom was in such a depressed moment that she didn't even know where to turn. So
Wow.
I always say, like, hey, I got us out of homelessness.
Yeah.
I was 17.
Yeah.
So when that showed me something though, that I could do anything, right? And so that's where like my whole road from there was just like, dude, I'm ambitious. It's just naturally in me. Like if that was like the lowest I can get, then I can get it from anything. So I knew that I had this grit and this determination in me, but I also knew my family also simultaneously battled with a lot of depression. And so we didn't know what it was, right? We're learning about it now, and it's just now becoming popular. What all these
Generational
different
trauma.
terms are, right? And undiagnosed, all kind of stuff. And so the mental health it's been in our family like heavy, right? And it'll be a lot of people that achieve great things, but then highs are highs, but the lows are lows,
Yeah, right.
super low. And so what I noticed is, and this it may sound a little harsh, but I don't care anymore what people think, because
Right.
what we did on the humanitarian side, I would never do it again. I won't do it again, and I'll tell you why. I won't do it. The way that we did it is we attempted to help outward problems with outward situations, right? Inward problems with outward situations. And so what I learned from that is you only do people a disservice if you provide them things without providing a way for them to provide for themselves.
Right. Right.
So I say that because in all of our approach, we were like, okay, we're investors, we're doing social housing, we're setting up, opportunities for people to be able to live affordably in California. But what we noticed is the biggest relapse, I would say, trigger that people had was what mentality were they coming in with, right? So if you house somebody that has a poverty mentality, you're not doing anything if you don't address the root of the mentality of why they ended up homeless. And so from figuring that out, we were like, hey, we're noticing a common thread, and that is the mental, I would say, the level of mentality where these people are at when we get them. So a lot of people that ended up in our house, they were already down on their luck. Maybe their life had some kind of downward spiral, some turn of events that were out of their control. They burned a bunch of bridges, but they ended up getting to us not really having a lot of self-confidence, a lot of self-esteem, and it was just like, this is what we could get. So their attitude was like, it's there, this is where I'm at. And so they would get kicked out of the house. We wouldn't kick them out. They would not follow the rules, and they would get kicked out.
Right.
And so I would assess that and go, what's really happening here, if we really want to build what we call sustainable housing, right? That was the buzzword, is we're really going to have to address the mentality while simultaneously housing them.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, long story short, and I'll be real transparent about it. Having 4 mortgages or 3 mortgages and 2 rental houses in California, when you just a 2-man show, is juggling like you don't understand. So most of our profit went to just the houses, right? Just the cost of the mortgage or the rent. And so when I was looking at our numbers and looking at where we're coming in, we're like, look, we got to pivot. We got to do something different, or, we're not going to be able to climb out of the financial hole that we're in because the cost of living is so high here. I have friends in other states that were doing the exact same model, killing the game because their price points were so much cheaper at the property level. And then it's not an excuse. It was just the reality. The reality of so many people needed housing, but what we could actually charge per bed versus what it cost to secure a home, the numbers weren't hitting. So we did it successfully for 4 years, and it was time to strategically pivot. And when we decided to pivot, it was like win-win, because I said, well, okay, what's happening now too is there's a lot of awareness for mental health, which means there's a lot of funding for mental health. Right? 2, I had made up in my mind, never give anything away without helping an individual be able to provide for themselves. Right. Otherwise, I'm just doing us both a disservice.
Right.
And so we decided to go at that angle and shift to now our nonprofit is called First Serve Foundation. We are starting the mental health leg underneath the umbrella of First Serve, and our mental health leg is called Affirmations.
Right here.
I brought you a shirt.
Brought me a shirt.
It's a large, but it's kind of a big large. I don't know if you can fit it.
I can fit it.
I'll get you a shirt too.
Appreciate you.
And you yourself down there. And that kind of leads it, to bring it back full circle, which is why I was excited that you guys' topic for your podcast was mental health. I believe that mental health from day one, I'm talking about Genesis and Adam, has been one of the biggest issues of humanity, right? And I always take it back there because that's what I do. The first time that Adam realized he was naked, and God's like, dude, who told you was naked, right? First thing you have is mental health challenges. Seeing who he is not enough, right? Seeing what he's lacking, or saying, I think I'm ashamed of this. And he's like, who made you shameful of anything? I made you with a body, you naked. If I would have made you with clothes, that's would have been how it's supposed to be. But I made you the way you are. So where are you getting this mental health hang up? And so from day one, you see all throughout humanity that this has been a challenge of ours, that every human personally has to battle and deal with and get to a spot where they're okay with themselves, where they feel whole, where they feel deserving, where they feel worthy. And this is kind of just like, our interpersonal struggle amidst all the other crap we got to deal with.
Well, go ahead.
It's amazing because I look at mental health I think we did this in one of our courses. Is in the word health is heal. You have to heal. You have to heal mentally from generational trauma, physical trauma. If you just sweep everything under the rug, eventually you're going to trip over the rug. But mental health stems from, I like mental heal, because you have to heal your mental, because when we were younger, what the first thing they tell you, mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing to waste. And I applaud you guys for trying to do, because why is my favorite question.
Right.
I applaud you guys for dealing with the why with the individuals that you help, as opposed to just spoon feeding them help. You want them to be able to thrive once they leave. You want them to be able to be better for their families, because you're bringing them together for a reason, and you don't want your efforts and energy to be in vain. So again, I applaud that. And dealing with the why is some things that we don't deal with. We don't talk about why am I having mental health issues? Why can't I heal mentally? Why do I keep doing the same things I'm doing over and over again and getting the same results that I don't like? When you look at it like that, it's like, am I stupid? Am I dumb? If I'm doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different, it's the root of insanity. And am I crazy? And so you guys dealing with the why is great. I appreciate and applaud you guys for that. Definitely.
Yeah. So definitely congratulations to me, because you guys took a really, really big step, right? A step in faith. So you guys had 3 mortgages and 2 rentals, right? So
In California.
In California.
We had one in Michigan.
One in Michigan. Okay. So are they all gone now, or are you guys still managing that?
That was actually part of the strategic move, was to consolidate and get back to just our own home.
Right.
Once I saw the finances going to,
The mic.
once I started looking at the finances, my wife does most of the numbers and most of the admin. But when she started showing me, look, this house is going to be covered, this house is going to be covered, and our mortgage is going to be late.
Oh wow.
Right? And so then you look at, we were housing individuals, right? And I shouldn't take it there, but I'm gonna take it there.
Take it there.
They weren't always appreciative of the service we were offering.
Of course not. Yeah.
Brand's favorite word is cook, so cook.
Right. And so I would look at that, and the ego part of me would be like, you know what we're doing? Like, this is California. You're able to live.
Right.
My own house, my own mortgage is going to be late because of, and I wouldn't look at it like that, but it's just, I looked at it, it was a fact that, hey, you don't know the numbers, right? I'm thinking of some individuals in my head. They didn't know, but they gave us a lot of attitude and a lot of stuff. But we the ones that came into this. We walked into this, so I don't blame nobody. I never point a finger. It was just the reality was, if I don't reprioritize where our finances are going, then I'm the dummy.
Right.
I said, let's cut it. Let's cut the umbilical. The houses, so we closed down 3 houses in about, I would say, like 5 months.
Oh wow.
But it was just
That was
time
moving,
too, because I started to really not believe in what we were doing, in the sense that I knew that this was just going to be a game of housing people until they're ready to leave.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of other friends I have that do it successfully, and that's great. But for me, it had to sit right, and I knew that we had to address a different issue, a root cause.
Yeah.
Not to say nobody else does, but for us and our family and our organization, we had to push a reset button, and it was time.
Yep.
The benefit was we do have a lot of friends.
Right.
We've made lots of partnerships with cities, counties, lots of housing, other housing organizations. So the benefit was the people who were in our homes, we were able to offer them multiple cities, multiple homes, because that was my main thing. We cared about the people we housed. They weren't just some old random. No, we treated these folks like they were family.
Yeah.
So we loved a lot of them. And so my main thing was, we need to make sure they have somewhere to land.
Right.
But through our partnerships over 4.5 years, we had multiple cities, multiple houses. We said, which city do you want to go to?
Right.
And we will make it happen.
Right.
We'll call the people and make the transfer, make sure you get there. So that was the biggest thing, was to make sure everybody had a landing point. But it also it was a huge learning opportunity, not only for homelessness as a whole, especially in the United States, but the funding for homelessness, like
Yeah.
we applied for multiple grants, we applied for multiple contracts that we were in line for. And, when you are the people at the forefront and you get to see after a while the trick
Yeah.
where the money's not hitting.
Yeah.
Like you see there's billions of dollars
Right.
that federally, state, county, these folks are getting the money, but it's not trickling down to the people on the front line,
Right.
which is ridiculous. So, I mean, after going through this, I thought about going politically and fighting for this because the people, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of nonprofits doing the work. They're on the front line and they're making it happen with peanuts and pennies. And they're at the front line. We hear the calls of people crying because they just need the basics, a roof over their head and something to eat. But the money, it's going to the counties, but it's not trickling down to the people. And there's political things going in there. There's the system. There's so many things to talk about. Of the money is there, but it's not getting to the right people. And now the politics is even worse. The most people that we house were on Social Security. They're on these programs that are being cut. So we saw the writing on the wall also back in December. So that was also one of the reasons why we said we've got to pivot because the funding for basic governmental programs is being cut. We saw that last year, and now it's cut.
Yeah.
So the people who we were housing, they would have been greatly affected. So there's a lot in there. We learned a lot over these years of the problem with homelessness. Mental health is a huge part of it because you can't give somebody a roof over their head and that says now their house.
Right,
Because
their
we
house,
house a lot of homeless people. They came from living at the park and we put a roof over their head and we come to visit and we're like, why do they still look like they're homeless? Like they
It's a
have a
mindset.
shower.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
have a shower. They have a bed. And we go. They still look like they're homeless, but they're in our house.
Yeah.
So there's so many
that's good.
layers. We could go on for hours on what we learned. But
You talked about funding, and I was watching the interview, and they said it was nationwide. It was $24 billion that was spent on homelessness, but there's still a massive problem, right? And then somebody said earlier, you said that it's not really homelessness because true people who are homeless, they're one job offer away from actually not being homeless. But the ones who are really have the mental health challenges, those are the ones who are on the streets. So the ones who are doing drugs. So that really stuck out. So tell me about Afro Motions, right? So tell me exactly what you guys do and how that assists with the mental health issue challenges.
I'll tell you how this became birthed, and this all ties together. As we decided to pivot, one of the things I've been doing is I had never really studied my own mind.
Okay.
And I feel like God put me on this journey for the last 3 years to really study the mind, right? And so there's mindset communities that are popular now. I wasn't in them growing up. I didn't know anything about it, but now some of my favorite authors are like Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy, and a lot of the old time guys that taught about the mind and the subconscious mind, right? And so I did a lot of that study. I did a lot of it. One of my favorite pastors is Reverend Ike, right? And it's very controversial stuff, especially for me because I come from pastors. My grandfather had a huge church, marched with Dr. King. My uncle had a huge church in LA for 30 years. So it was always taboo to go follow something like this. But I realized a lot of religion never wanted to talk about the mind, never wanted to really get into it. And yet Paul is always talking about, hey, be ye transformed by renewing your mind, right? So these things that we all know in the back of our head, they just never click. And I went on this journey like, nah, I'm gonna learn about what this is about. Like what was our mind? What is our subconscious mind? How are we operating? What is being programmed? What was I programmed in childhood? And I went on this journey as we were doing this business. And I feel like this is where Affirmations was birthed from, because I personally dealt with a lot of mental health issues and didn't even know what they were, undiagnosed. Fire department, most of us deal with it all the time. We just suck it up and just keep going on calls. But I've talked like to so many young firefighters almost like talking them off a ledge, like they're about to end it all.
Really?
In one shift, they were about to hang themselves in front of everybody just to spite the crew that they had, because the crew was so hard. Like our department, well, I'll put it out there. You can edit it. Some people's departments, right? They're known for having very, very challenging, toxic environments, right? And then the idea is like that old school, good old boy, like, hey, get over it. Right? Don't be a punk. Don't be a P. Yeah. And then
You can cook on here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can cook.
Yeah. And I mean, they'll tell you that to their face.
Yeah.
Like, first day. Why you being a pussy? Why you being a bitch? Like,
Really?
this ain't for you then. Get out. Right? And so, and I'm also military, 12 years. I went to Afghanistan. And so I've seen a lot of stuff when I was over there. And I remember I came and I got assessed for they had to do a mental health assessment when you get in the fire department. And the lady was asking me, how's your mental health, using war? And I said, well, I got PTSD. Have you ever been in war?
Right.
And she was like, oh, what was the hardest stuff you saw over there? And I was like, well, one of the hardest things was seeing all the nurses cry outside because all the deaths, and the deaths weren't by, IEDs or blowing. It was suicide. It was a bunch of young kids that felt like they was trapped.
Really?
So they just offed themselves. Yeah.
Jeez.
And so I saw that personally. And then when I came home, I was just like, wow, it's time to rebound. It's time to get back in. And I was still ready to serve. So I went in the fire department. What I didn't do, what I should have done, was take a break for my own mental health. I went from one mental health undiagnosed cage to another, and it probably just made it worse for me.
Yeah.
I still highly regard any kind of service job. If you want to do it, go ahead and go follow your dreams. But if you are anything like me, take a mental health break, learn yourself before you get into something, because you could potentially make it worse for yourself. So I struggle with a lot of just, how do you get over this? This is this. My mind is always thinking this we're going to lose this, or this is going to happen. And there's all these mental health issues going on while I'm seeing all of this carnage, because, I was a paramedic firefighter, so we're first on scene for stuff. But I looked at that and I said, how am I personally going to rebound and go back? I was off on an injury, a back injury. How am I going to personally go back into that environment and keep providing for my family? I need to do something to build myself up. And I got into affirmations.
Okay.
And I remember when I got into affirmations, they sounded what we would say in the 90s. They sounded non-heterosexual.
He said
non-heterosexual.
Like,
Standing in front of the mirror, I am somebody.
Like, they tell me, say and look in your eyes and say, I am enough and I am whole. And I remember doing it and just feeling like, this is the dumbest shit. Like, how, this is why these people, and I'm just mocking them all. And then I started realizing the only reason I feel this way is because it's so uncomfortable to look inside me and actually say that, and actually see the pain from childhood, and actually see the little boy who just wants to, be picked up by their daddy. And then on top of that is just this, all the stuff that you carry on your back to be a real man, right? Grow up black in the 90s.
Right.
Right? And so I started looking at that going, wow. So as I get older, it's either just going to be I teach the same old way to my boys, and I got 2 girls and 2 boys, or I take it upon myself and I guess really man the fuck up and really stop being scared of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that journey is what started affirmations. Now, we started listening to affirmations in the car. We started reciting them in the morning, or was we dropping the kids off? It was a I guess blessing in disguise that I was injured, because I was off for like a year and I got to drive the kids to school. So I had to reintroduce myself to my own kids. Because my job, we'll be gone for like 24, 48, or 72 hours at a time.
Wow.
But relearning myself, and then being able to really be aware of it and go, you know what, I have an opportunity to plant into my kids and my whole family that this is actually the foundation you want to have, which is positive self-image, which is belief in yourself, which is confidence as just the norm, right? And so through affirmations and through listening to them and having our family recite them in the morning or listen to them, the kids would roll their eyes, but all of a sudden I could tell that their confidence was coming up. I could tell they felt more secure. I was feeling more secure. I say it changed our family's whole morning routine. And then we would always work out. We were big in fitness. My wife lettered in 3 sports in high school.
Okay.
When I met her, she was doing capoeira, Pilates, and some other sport. And I was
Sing,
like,
sports,
right.
businesswoman.
She was a
Okay.
beast.
Okay.
And I was a personal trainer at the time. I was a personal trainer for about 8 years. I worked at a few different gyms, and fitness was always huge for us, right? And I think it was the mental health aspect. You know, those endorphins, and that being like something that you could do and feel like you had some control over something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Or you could sweat it out sometimes. And then combining that with affirmations, I would listen to the affirmations while I worked out. And I was just like, all the advice, suggestions that I got from doctors were like, whether it be, because I had to do therapy for PTSD, right? They'd always be like, yeah, you know, you could back off on the drinking a little and you could pick up on the working out. And
Just
I was
a little
like,
bit, huh?
yeah, I feel you. That's a great idea. And
But-
so I was like, because I do love fitness. And so you're right. And so I would do that, and I would notice the common undercurrent theme that a lot of people would recommend, a lot of therapists and doctors, was do this for your mental health, but make sure you have a solid diet and exercise program. And I was like, oh, that's always recommended along with the mental health. Exercise, fitness, mental health, exercise, and I was like, why ain't this shit paired together?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? And that's when I was like, boom, affirmations. We're going to do fitness and motion and movement to affirmations. We're going to hit both of these birds with the same stone, and we are going to be building up our mental health, our self-image, our positive self-image, our confidence. Everything internally and spiritually inside of us is going to be mimicked and mirrored along with our fitness routine simultaneously, intentionally, on purpose.
Yeah.
And
like
then when I
that.
started to study and learn about, we can go into the philosophy of it.
Yeah.
We have a whole philosophy of affirmations.
Yeah.
And the gist of it, and I'll let you get to your questions, but the gist of it is this. A lot of people have gone through traumatic situations.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot. A lot of people, not even in the first responder field, have gone through a lot of traumatic. I think African Americans in this country literally have been through, if not their own personal ones, because of our ancestors and our history here, we've had it passed down through us, through the bloodline, right?
Right.
And it's been scientifically proven that trauma can go through the DNA.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I started learning when we researched this is trauma is actually trapped in your body,
Yes.
right? It gets trapped in the muscles, it gets trapped in your body. And the only way to release it is not only through therapy, talking it out, but it's through movement. And the more I began to study and learn on this, ancient civilizations did it naturally. They would get in a drum circle around a fire at night and beat the drum and start dancing, and they were really releasing stuff. And we know, if you grew up in the church world, when you catch the Holy Ghost, it was basically you getting trauma out of your body in a spiritual way that we, categorized as, the church dance or praise break or
Praise
something.
dance. Yep.
Right? And so you realize that every culture in their own way has been doing this inherently, I guess instinctively. We're just intentionally bringing awareness to it and say, hey, this is a trauma-informed therapeutic intervention, and it's called affirmations.
Yeah.
I like that.
I had first of all, it's truly amazing, right?
Yeah.
And I've known you guys for at least 10, right? At least 10. And I didn't know that you were going through so much, with your mental health. I mean, the back I knew about. So one thing about our podcast is for men and the ones that love them, right? And I'm glad you're here because you can speak from a woman's point of view as far as when your man is going through some mental health, right? How did you support him through that? Because I know it wasn't easy, right? But how did you support him through? Because women have questions about, my man's going through this, but I have no idea how to support him or get through this or be that nurturer because it's difficult. How did you actually do that and then still be sitting here today?
That's a massive question. Because this man has gone through a lot.
Yeah.
We've been married almost 20 years.
Okay.
And
Congratulations.
10 years.
That's what's up.
10 years being here back in Moreno Valley. Just even the last 10 years, what he's been through. Because, yes, I was there when, I think right after he joined the military, I think we were starting to get together and got married. So I was there when he went to Afghanistan.
Okay.
We had 2 kids. I had just had our second kid. So to watch, we had to go through the emotions, just being a military wife.
Right,
And I wouldn't count myself an extreme military wife, because there's men who were gone all the time,
Right.
like for years. They're years gone, and they don't even know their kids, and then they try to come back and be reintroduced. At least Aaron has gone for Afghanistan was 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, Afghanistan. And then he went to the East Coast before we had kids, and so we've had those periods of him being gone. I always say there's a transition, and I don't think anyone else understands except a military wife, maybe even like cops' wives,
Right.
firefighter wives. There's a transition that these men go through just to leave. I see there's 3 periods. There's a transition to leave, especially if they're going to be gone for long periods of time. Like, he has to get his mind right. And it's almost like he's withdrawing before he even goes.
Really? Wow.
And I don't think he even realizes
Wow.
that. There's the period before he leaves. Like, I can see him in his mind. His mind is changing.
Yeah.
And he's going through this period of, I'm about to leave my family. So he's already starting the leaving process.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, like, his presence is even gone before he leaves.
Wow.
There's the pre-leaving. There's the him being gone, physically gone, and we have to keep everything running.
Right.
Like, if you have most military wives have kids.
Right.
And you got to keep the shit going.
Right,
You know?
right,
We
right,
got to
right.
cook. We got to clean the house. We got to get these kids wherever they need to go. And for some reason, all this is happening when they're little. Like, we've got little kids.
Yeah.
And our own kids we have to be there when our kid is crying and saying, where's daddy?
Yeah.
And so our oldest son, I think he's the only one who really had that memory of daddy being gone.
Okay.
And so I would have to lay in the bed with him and say, and console him as he's crying. And I think he still has some mental health that he's hanging on from that time period. He's almost 18 now, but he's still holding on to some of that from daddy being gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to be there for the kids and the house and the bills and the everything.
Yeah.
And then wondering what's happening, because they say, technology is great.
Yeah.
You'll be able to call them, and then they get over there, and maybe you'll get a call and you don't hear from them again. Like, he was gone 6 months. I think we heard maybe within the first 2 weeks, and then nothing.
Really?
Like, nothing.
Oh, wow.
I don't think we heard from him again unlike 2 months later. And so we're worried, like, what's happening? Because this is war. It was Afghanistan in literal war.
Yeah.
And so we're wondering what's happening. Where is he at? Is he on the front lines? Is he? So it's the worry of, is he safe?
Yeah.
Is
Right.
he safe? And what can I do to support him from here?
Yeah.
We send him a care package. I sent him a little calendar. That's a side note. But we sent him a care package. The kids from our son's school did these little cards, and we sent him some Halloween candy. We try to support in that way. But it's the unknown. He's gone. And then he comes back, and he's a whole other person.
Wow.
He's a totally different person, because he's experiencing that he doesn't even want to talk about. And so I've got to get reintroduced to my husband. And I was pregnant at the time. And so I'm like big as a house. I'm like, hi. I'm trying to put on a face for this man I haven't seen and have to now be reintroduced.
Right.
And so I counted 3 stations of someone going out. And so even if we count that with his being a firefighter, like, now he's gone for 24 hours.
Right.
And during COVID, he was gone 6 days a week, like all day. Wow. And so when daddy was gone, he was gone.
He was gone.
He's gone. And sometimes it would turn into, oh, he's gone 2 days. Oh, he's gone. He had this weird schedule. It was like 2 days on, 2 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off. It was this weird thing. So he'd be gone like 2 or 3 days. And so I had to adjust to, it's just me and the kids.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you as a wife, you're going to have periods where you're going to be feeling like you're single.
Yeah.
But I had that many times where, again, it's shorter periods, but I'm a single mom and he's gone. And the same thing, he'd have periods where he knows he's leaving, so he would withdraw.
Yeah.
And then he's gone. And then he comes back and he has to be reintroduced.
Right.
So it's like, and so with the, I try to figure out how do I support, because I could see him struggling. I could see physically it was beating him down, especially the fire department. He would come home, the days he would come home, all he could do was collapse in a bathtub.
Literally collapse.
Like just, it looked like he would come home because everything was hurting, especially in the academy. Everything was hurting. So he would come home and he would go straight to the bathroom and a bathtub and fall asleep. So I would say, okay, how can I support him? So I'm like, okay, kids, somebody run his bath. Somebody let's make sure he has his dinner. And I would just kind of sit there with him and try to talk with him and try to support him. And I did my best to, sometimes I would just get in the bathtub with him and just kind of veg with him and give him the chance to unwind, but give him the chance to unwind in his time, because I knew it was a lot.
Right.
It was a lot. And so sometimes he would just fall asleep. So I would just get in the bath with him. That was let me get
Quality
in the bath.
time. That was a cute. We call that QT in my house. Quality time. Yeah.
So
just get in the bath.
so
And the notes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So hearing that, I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about this before, but right now, Aaron, hearing that, what's going on in your head right now? Like you actually hearing that?
No, I feel the same feelings. Like I feel like I know what she's talking about, and I will withdraw if I have to get deployed or something happens and aliens attack and they call me back. I'll do
Now,
the
was
same
that
thing.
preventative? Was that preventative for your own,
but
quote unquote, mental
that's
health?
to keep me focused to get back home, right? So in the occupations I have, it's about situational awareness. If you somewhere else in your mind, that's when you end up blown up,
Right.
or that's when you end up, on a fire ground. Something gonna happen. So you got to stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready, and so you got to get ready before you ever leave.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
and then when you come back, that's the hardest transition, because the kids just want to jump on you and the wife want to come and give you a hug. But I'm like, I know what I seen, I know what I did, so let me have some time with me to process everything and get back to feeling, deserving again of this. Because even in Afghanistan, when a lot of people in our unit died, you have that, what do you call it, survivor guilt. We've seen a lot of stuff. So anyway, yeah, it's the transition of that. I hear what she's saying, and that's why I don't think I don't think it's an accident or coincidence when you end up with the person that you're with.
Right.
Regardless of how it turns out or ends up, they're there for that either season, that reason, or the lifetime.
You learn something either way.
Yeah.
Either way you learn. Yeah.
And that's it. But nobody ever gave me no rule book on how to cope with mental health stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up on Tupac lyrics and
We were
West
talking
Coast
about that.
rap and East Coast rap. And
Yeah.
so it was all about, if a nigga do that, you go get him back, retaliate, right? And pretty much you gotta, thug it out.
That's
right?
that's the word.
Thug it out.
Thug it out.
Yeah.
So it's totally unhealthy now. And it caused me a lot of internal problems. Like,
Right.
Like I have injuries, like structurally, but I also have a cardiac injury, right? And that's just from stressing the fuck out all the time and not ever going in to deal with any mental health issues until after the fact. And now they've already produced other, diagnosis. And so I look at that and I go, wow, I just been sacrificing the shit out of my body to make money. That's what changed my mindset about money too. And I started studying money. I was like, man, I'm never serving money like this again. Money's gonna serve me.
You. Yep.
Right.
You
Yep.
sacrifice your
I'm up
body to
here.
make money. That's
Right.
That's
I'm
crazy.
up here about to die so I could make a living. Right. Anything to get this check. And we call it in the fire department, we call it blood money, because it feels like it. Like you literally killing yourself so you could just buy some toys and like a truck and a boat and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not serving money like this.
Right.
Wow.
And I will just reduce all the expenses in my life. I'll reduce everything to the income that I have coming in and be happy. And this is after the fact, because now I got all the injuries and I'm at the doctor every other day and they're scanning for stuff and saying we found something, we need more tests, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I got the life lesson from it, and affirmations. I use it now. I use it every day.
Mm-hmm.
We have developed, thank God. I had a background in film and music. I went to school for film and music. I've always been a creative guy, which was like diametrically opposed to the occupations I was in, right? Because you're supposed to follow orders.
When we first met, we were supposed to make a movie together, right? But
that's right.
We didn't do it
yet.
Work
on productions yet.
All right, go ahead.
And then all of a sudden, my creativity, technology lines up with my creativity, and we have this invention of artificial intelligence. And I just took it and ran.
Yeah.
So my AI stack is like 7 stacks deep. And I create every single day at least 3 or 4 songs, 4 affirmations for our family. And my mental health has never been better. And it's because I tell everybody I live in my own creation. They say, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
My wife knows. I literally have, through my stacks that I have, my AI stacks, I have philosophical conversations that are intriguing questions to myself about life, about introspective things, and I'll turn that into lyrics, and then from that I'll turn that into a dope ass beat and a dope ass track. And so I'll listen to this and I'll play it, but it's all reinforcing my own positive self-image, and I guess the renewing of my mind, right? To
Constantly
get back to
renewing.
constantly.
Yes.
So I turn everything off on the radio because that shit's garbage, right? And so the only things I listen to are my own music right now, and I've been doing it for 6 months, and it's part of what Affirmations is about. Affirmations is mindset, music, movement.
Mindset, music, movement.
Right.
Okay.
And the music is a huge part of it because it's only reinforcing a positive mindset, positive self-image, encouragement from within into yourself. And it's done in such a dope way because I'm a dope producer and we're doing it and we're mixing it with fitness and moves that I've learned from boot camp or the academy or calisthenics or plyometrics or kickboxing when I used to be a personal trainer. We're mixing all this together for this experience, and it's literally experience that the slogan says it all, our tagline. We don't just work out, we work in.
Yep.
Right?
Just work out,
and
we work in.
We have, to bring it back full circle, we are taking on this challenge now to normalize mental health in the fitness world and to say not only is mental health a necessity that we address it, especially from all the kings who have been told you're not a king if you address it, right?
Right.
No, this is what a king does. You address the root.
Right.
You get to the root and you fix it. You change it. Why? Because you're a king.
Yeah.
This is what you do. You come out with something that's a mandate and then you change it. That's what we are called to do. And so I just started walking in that in the last couple of years going, nah, I'm not just accepting anything. And the music reinforces that identity. And so really what Affirmations is identity rewiring. And to be able to do that constantly and live in that, that's what I say, living in my own creation, it literally gives you the confidence of how God sees you, right? Not how your ego sees you. Your ego always wants to see you as separate from God, a worm, always needing to get some kind of approval or some kind
validation.
of passage. And please forgive me, and I'm always behind the 8 ball, and I'm always doing this. And God's like, dude, I don't look at you like that. You're my son, walk like it. You're a king, walk like it. You're an heir, walk like it. Act like it, talk like it, think like it, create like it, right? And when you start doing that, it's revolutionary. But there's got to be some things in your life that help reinforce it because there's just too much other shit to bring you back to that old identity. That's what Affirmations is too.
I like that.
Identity rewiring to get back to who are you really? Who are you really? Who's my wife really? Who are you, Barron really? Who are you, Anthony really? Really, you're God's highest creation. And so if I can remind people that through the guise of fitness, what your true identity is. Your true identity is you're actually one with God.
You're one with God.
Right? He's been telling you all throughout the Bible. All throughout it. Now, whether or not you have the balls to accept it, that's your own personal journey. But when you get there, you're a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. Well, what you said, we're son of kings. We're supposed to hold yourself a certain way. You're supposed to think differently than everybody else. You are a son of, you have power. There's power in you. And if you just let it sit there and fester, again, you are the blame. You know, so same wavelength. I love it. I love it. You mentioned something. I want to go back when you said that you went when you came home. When you came home, you didn't feel deserving of the love or the affection that your family had for you. Was it because of things that you did overseas? Or was it because you just felt like I've been gone too long to deserve all of this love? Or, you know, what was it?
I think looking back at it now, the root is deeper than any occupation I've ever taken.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, number one, having this idea that I'm a sinner, right? And that I'm going to always be a sinner that needs to come to this God and beg for him for forgiveness so that I can end up in the afterlife evading hell, right? So that does something to the psyche.
Right.
That does something emotionally. And I think that religious Christians, because I was one of them for years, and I say religious because
I like that.
right, I'm not a religious Christian anymore.
Yeah,
I
spiritual.
follow the Christ that is in me, which
Right.
is where he said he decided to tabernacle and live inside of man, right? So because of that, I think we've had I think that category or population of people has some of the deepest ingrained mental health issues. And
Absolutely.
so to your question, yeah, there's stuff I saw. And yeah, when you see a lot of death and there's a lot of, we had this thing called flight line funerals. It's where they would bring the casket, drape a flag over it, and you're supposed to come out there out of respect and salute. Well, we did it so much that we would just hear flight line funeral at 3 o'clock. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to that one, right?
Wow.
I'm just going to sit here and play dominoes with the homies because they're every day, right?
Right.
And so now death is becoming desensitized, and that's when you really know that
crazy.
something's changing in you, right? And you stop being scared for your own life, and you're just like, whatever happens, happens. I mean, it's a good feeling, but it's also like you have to do a lot of self-assessment and see, are you in touch or out of touch? And so when you come back home and everybody just wants to jump on you and give you hugs and kisses, wait a minute, I'm still out of touch with feelings. This was survival mechanism. This is how I stayed alive. So give me some time to start feeling empathy again and compassion and wanting to embrace. You know, give me a hug and stuff. That's great. But it's going to be a while till I got back to where it's like, oh, okay, I'm processing this. I'm just paying attention to the right now and being present and just being able to give my kids a real hug and look them in the eye.
Yeah.
So that was a transition just personally for me, just because I was deployed and it affected me. My biggest fear over there was I was going to die and not be able to raise my kids because they were in a 2-parent home.
Right.
So I felt like I was chain breaking.
Yeah.
I was in a 2-parent home. And so I was like, well, thanks, God. When I used to look up at God like he was up there, right? He's inside of us. Anyway, but I used to look up while I was in Afghanistan. Wow, ain't this funny? Like, I got a 2-parent, my kids got a 2-parent home, and I'm finna die from this bomb attack over here.
Wow.
So that did something to me when I came back, and I had to, it was a road, but, you know, I got back to being able to just feel and be present again. I wasn't studying any mindset, anything. So a lot of it was just outward substances helped me to feel again. So, but that's part of my story, and I'm not ashamed of it at all.
No,
because
you
it
shouldn't.
led to affirmations.
Right.
You beat the odds because you know military has a high rate of suicide, right? You know going to being a firefighter, you know being there, so you actually beat the odds twice
And a black man in the 90s.
3 times.
3 times.
So that's something to applaud in itself.
Absolutely.
Right. So affirmations. So you use it for you guys and your family. So is it actually out there in the marketplace now, or how are you guys introducing this to like the marketplace and the people who need it?
So we are, we did a pivot this summer. So we are currently working with our interns, thanks to our interns at RCC, Riverside City College, and Cal Baptist. They're
CBU.
helping us. Yes, we have 5 interns. They're helping us get it out to, because we have a lot of things that were written down. Aaron's got 800 songs now.
800 songs?
Something crazy. 800 songs.
That you wrote yourself or through AI?
So I wrote them through AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But that's why AI is so powerful, because our productivity has 1,000x.
Okay.
And everybody has the ability to do this, and do it for your dream and your passion.
Yeah.
Don't think AI is a threat. It's a threat if you make it a threat.
Yeah, right.
If it takes your job and it don't enhance your job, then you're allowed to only look at one side of what this double-edged sword is, right? And so, a short little commercial, but just go do you, boo. But take an AI stack and do you 1,000x it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people think that AI is like it's something simple. I'm telling you, this man has studied AI, the last 6 months? But yes, so he has a formula to create the music. So
Nice.
it's not just an easy,
Right.
oh, let's write a song about kickboxing, boop. No, he actually has a formula in how he creates it. He's been studying the backside of AI. He's been developing a formula in how to create these songs and how to bring in the different, because it's producing.
Yeah.
It's producing how to add different types of music, jazz versus hip hop versus the instrumentation, live music versus, studio. So he's been studying the backside of these different apps to create the music. And our interns are helping us get it out. Yes. So we have, we're working with the interns to actually move it out to the public. Our first, we're kind of moving in sessions in, what do we call that? Kind of rolling it out to different populations, different phases. Yes. So the first phase is to the community. And so we have 2 events coming up in November 13th. Next week, we will be at RCC for their mental health and wellness fair, where we have a table, we have a booth to hand out some T-shirts. We'll do some raffles. We'll tell people about affirmations, but we're also going to demo our workouts.
Really?
And so people can come to RCC and demo the workout.
Okay.
And so that is between 1 and 3 o'clock on the 13th at RCC.
Which campus? Or it's one campus now,
Riverside.
right? Riverside, okay.
Yes, the
big one.
Riverside
Okay.
campus. There is a Moreno Valley campus, yes. So the Riverside campus, that's getting it out to the college community. And we have an event on November 29th. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, because we thought a lot of people are with their family.
Yeah.
We ate a whole lot. We ate too much.
Right.
And a lot of people want to move, but they don't really know how. And so we said the family's already going to be together. We're inviting families to come with their kids, come and do an Afro-Motions workout. We are doing it in the community in Riverside at Ryan Bonyamino Park, which is the park right below Mount Rubidoux.
Okay,
a lot of
park.
people love Mount Rubidoux. Huge traffic area. And so we thought, what a great way to bring it to the community through that park. And so those are our first events. We will have more events in the community. The first phase is the community. The second phase, we are actually going to go into senior nursing homes.
Okay.
My grandmother, before she passed, was in a home that's right down the street from our home in Moreno Valley. And so that's one of the homes we want to go to.
Okay.
We thought, what's the best population to kind of demo affirmations, then to bring some joy and some affirmations and encourage the older population.
Yeah.
Because we used to go and sing at these and they just they love people to come and visit. And I remember the joy on their faces that we came to sing. So I wanted to I said, let's bring affirmations to the senior population, because they need love and they need care, and they're kind of a population that's there, and it's a great population kind of try things out on. So we're gonna tailor affirmations to the senior populations with chair exercises, but also incorporating music. So the movement might be limited, but we're still gonna move and include the music and still mindset affirmations.
Slow motion's better than no motion.
Slow motions, yes. So the senior population would be phase 2, and phase 3 would be we plan to get into the schools.
Okay.
And we know we have 4 kids, and they have had a huge, just the mental health that has been affected because of COVID.
Right.
We watch our own kids just kind of go inward. I think you ask any parent, you could physically see the shift in kids.
Yep.
Because they couldn't go to school. once COVID was over, these kids were scared to go back into society.
Yep.
And there are still kids who don't want to do anything but stay home. I mean, we literally force our kids.
These don't help.
It doesn't. We forced our kids to go. We said, oh, the church is having a youth event. I said, put on your mask and get out.
Get out,
Let's
right?
go.
And when the school opened, we said, we will double mask you, get out. But they're going to be studying these kids for years to come. The mental health effects that are still there, but nobody's really talking about on these kids. So we're going into the schools and attacking the teens.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think that the students and the kids, so there's some state regulations for mental health programs, but there's a lot of funding that's coming down the line for mental health programs to go into schools for they call it SEL, social emotional learning, right? And so that they can have emotional regulation, and it's all based on, the requirements from the state. They have to be like tiered, and like tier 1, tier 2. It includes stuff that Affirmations already checks the boxes off, which is like social emotional regulation, box breathing, or regulated breathing, calming techniques, right? And so we know I've actually designed Affirmations to check off the requirements so that it would be valid for funding, but it would also do what the requirements of the state of California would have for us to go into schools. Why? Because I think it starts with the kids. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because if we're passing this stuff through DNA and we're passing it down the line, and then we just become aware of it as adults and then begin our journey, imagine if we would have began our journey as kids, right? So Affirmations is the future. Whatever you come up as a business and call it something different, it's the future because it's combining mental health, movement, fitness, and music. And it's just a seamless, there's a seamless bundle there, right? Where you're checking off so many boxes, you're basically accomplishing so many things at the same time. You asked, how are we rolling it out? We're rolling it out on, I'm not a huge social guy, so we have one of our interns handling our marketing for social media, but you can find us on IG, Affirmations. I think it's actually spelled the way that it's written, which is AFFIR period, and then the motion, MOTION. And so you can find us on IG. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube page, and the YouTube page is really where a lot of our stuff lives. Now, we're still rolling it out. There's only a few videos there, but our vision for Affirmations is global. I've always thought big. I always said, well, we're not going to just do a gym. We're going to do a mental health gym, right? Yeah. And I've always said, I know you've heard me saying that the last couple of years. And my vision for our gym
That's right. You were saying that, yeah.
Our vision for our gym, which actually we call it an identity studio because we are rewiring identity. So it's Affirmations Identity Studio. And it doesn't need a physical building. We're building the community right now. We're rolling it out. You guys are part of the community because you're allowing us to come on your podcast and market it and promote it. But I see it as the future of fitness. And I always say we're going to have the first gym on Mars. That's how big I think.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? But I see it as we build and roll out this community, lots of people will have their own take and their own spin on it. And they probably already do. Well, I'm not the only one giving this vision. I'm just somebody running with it, right? And so we're excited. You can find us on the social platforms, but there's not a whole lot of content because we're literally rolling it out. I created another promo commercial just this morning, and you'll start to see those things roll out. We're really at the grassroots, moment of this as we made this mental health pivot within our organization. But we're excited about it because it's so natural, and it's so like, I just feel like this just comes out of us. It exudes out of us, and so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, I can hear it. I can feel it. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's just who you guys are. Yeah. You talked about the first gym on Mars, right? Yes. He's very serious.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
And the reason I have an understanding behind it is, imagine what COVID did to us here on Earth, right? And the mental health effect and toll that it will take years to rewind from or bounce back from. For some populations, never, right? But imagine being an interstellar species where we have gone from one planet to another. Do do you imagine what mental health toll that would take?
Right.
Like now you're on Mars and we can't go back to Earth? Or maybe you can go back, but just that mental health toll, I think that there's going to have to be counselors and people in position just to deal with the impact of that. What? We left a planet?
Yeah.
Went to a whole nother one? So there's affirmation.
The trauma
right
with
there.
that alone is crazy.
It's trauma.
It seems like you guys starting something that's going to last beyond your lifetime.
It has to.
Right.
Yeah.
Why build if it doesn't last
Right.
beyond you?
Yeah. And that reminds me of David. And David didn't build the temple. His son did. Right. So he planted a seed, and it lasted past his generation. And I see that. And you guys are prolonging life. People who are young and old. Right. It's like because that mental health, that mindset, I believe that's what takes us out. Is that it's how we think. How we think reflects how we feel, and how we feel reflects our body. Because the body, like I said, the body keeps score, right? The body holds in all that trauma. And I can remember just me going through my trauma, and I would just start shaking, or I have heart palpitations, and like I'm thinking I'm dying, but it's the trauma that's trapped in my body, and to get that out. And I think what you guys are doing is freaking amazing. And I didn't know it was like this deep. I didn't. I mean, I didn't know that you guys were so passionate, and I didn't know that this was something that, I mean, 'cause I'm thinking like this can go like very, very, very far, very, very fast. And at the level that you're creating, it's an honor to have you guys here.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely,
definitely honor. So
we could say we had them first. We had them on first.
Had them on first.
Yeah. Congratulations if we're here to support any way possible.
Yeah. Definitely
come back.
One of those events, if you want to show up, we'll put you in the front row. And this is the thing. So we work on these workouts every day, right? And they're an ass kicker for me because I was a little out of cardio shape, and my wife was more in cardio shape. But what I've noticed is these are. So the slogan is, it's not just a workout; it's a work-in. And it's one of those things where if you've left a workout, you got it in and you feel good about that day. But I'll leave our workouts going, wow, this is a concept in me that I'm going to be thinking about throughout the rest of the day. So it's not even the afterburn effect of a workout. It's I was so aware within this workout about these affirmations I was saying, where are they popping up, or where's the opposition of them popping up throughout my day? And so that's what I want people to leave with. I don't ever want to compete with the fitness industry because we're not.
It's not a competition.
We're not a competition, and we're not even competing with them.
Right.
We do work-ins,
right,
through the guise of working out.
And under affirmations, we say that it's a combination being aware of your mind, body, spirit, and mental health. And I think, because I've worked out for years, but I didn't really connect that, it's actually helping me. Like I just went, I said, I need to be trimmed. My body feels good. But as I get older, I'm realizing I'm doing this for my mental health. Like who cares about if I'm in shape, but if I don't go, my mental health is affected more than even my body. So it makes me want to go every day. And so we're asking people, we're collecting data. We're collecting data as a part of this rollout. One for the grants and the contracts, but but the data. We want people to be more aware of their mental, spiritual, emotional mindset even before they go into the workout. So we have a little pre and a post evaluation before the workout, after the workout.
I love that.
Because nobody really thinks about that. You just kind of go sign up for the class, you go do your little weights and get out of there. We're telling people, hey, why don't stop a minute? What are you bringing into this? What is the trauma that you're bringing in? What is the weight that you're bringing in? And so we're asking, are you dealing with stress this morning? Are you dealing with anxiety this morning? What baggage are you bringing in? Even did you have a fight with your husband before you got here? And then how do you feel after the workout?
Wow.
What is the effect?
That's revolutionary.
What is the effect? We want to collect the data. We want to see that it's making a difference. And not only, we can't measure your heart rate and say, okay, your heart rate, your blood pressure's gone down. But we want to say that you feel calmer after leaving an affirmations workout. You feel less stressed. You feel maybe some of the words that were said, because we ask people, as a group, we're going to be doing affirmations. So we are going to be, as a group, we'll be call and response. I am powerful. I am powerful. I am whatever the word is, but I am enough.
Right.
Wow, to say I'm enough. I'm enough. So we're going to be saying these affirmations. And so maybe some of them will stick as they go throughout their day. I am enough.
Right.
I am enough. Maybe
That light bulb will go off.
Yes, and if you do it, you become a regular with affirmations. Over time, you realize I am enough. The God in me has created me to be whatever your purpose, your plan is here. You are enough.
The last shameless plug I want to put in there,
Plug it.
I'm a shameless self-promoter, is that we recently become peer support specialists, certified wellness coaches, and community health workers through a good friend of ours, Dr. Tadis Ross, who teaches out of Monrovia Adult School in Monrovia. And we came with him. He came to us saying there was this opportunity for these new positions. And we've held lots of titles, but this is the most, this is the title that I'm proudest to hold, right? Peer support specialist, wellness coach, and community health workers, because I just believe in serving, but serving yourself first, and then being equipped and enabled to serve. So our last thing I want to plug is there is that this is an experience. That's why I want you guys to come out and experience this work in experience. We call it, we don't just work out, we work in, but it's a journey for 45 to 50 minutes, and it's an experience I want you guys to see. Is probably going to be like no other thing you've been a part of.
Okay.
The closest thing you probably have to it, if you have grown up like that, was probably like church, but this is all different in the sense that you're affirming with us, right? And so I got the idea from the Jody calls that we used to do in boot camp. We'd be running, I don't know what you've been home, and that keeps you going. Seeing that when you don't have nothing else in you, but feeling the energy next to you, and just knowing if I could just sing this last line, I could push a little further. That digging into that spirit and mental connection, like my wife was talking about, that's what that is the dynamic that we sought to bring into Afromotions. And so come out and experience with us. You're going to be affirming with us. And the tagline that we have is align, affirm, and achieve. Align, affirm, achieve. And what that in essence means is that we are doing identity rewiring. But before you be your best self, you have to first identify and align with that person mentally. Then you affirm it out here in the world, and then you achieve by moving, right? The 3 planes of existence has to be lined up, right? And that is spiritual, mental, and physical. A lot of times we only address the 2, right? Or 1. But we are purposely and intentionally bringing this workout experience so that you align with the best, highest expression of yourself mentally, right? And then you see yourself as that person, whole, healthy, healed, enough, complete. And then from there, we affirm that this is who I am, right? Out loud through movement, and that's us completing the circuit by achieving it physically through our exercises.
Yeah, I love that.
That's it.
I love that. What you guys got going on is dope. I love it, but more importantly, I love to see couples edify each other.
Yeah, amen.
So continue. I mean, it's probably you're already going to do it, but I just want to be the first one to say continue to edify each other, continue to love on each other. Hey, I say that about my wife too. I'm like, you still with your boy? But hey, right. You know I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm like, I'm crazy, but she like, so am I. Right, so it's like we perfect fit. So it's just good to see. I love to see that. So
as well too.
Continue, and
thank you so much for sharing your time. Sharing your heart, and share your gift, right? Because this is a really it's an amazing gift. Yeah, guys. So you guys heard it. You guys heard it here first. We have our first veteran, our first firefighter, our first married couple, our first wife, our first Afromotions couple. This is the first episode. This is our first.
This is a first for us. So yeah.
So share. So I would say share, like, comment, subscribe, because there's someone out there who needs to hear this message. Someone who that's going through something that's very, very tough, and why not bring them to a place where they can start the healing process. So November 12th, RCC 13th, RCC
1 to 3, RCC in Riverside.
And then
November 29th, Ryan Bonyamino Park, which is right below Mount Rubidoux. 10 a.m. is our expected time.
All right. So thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next week and have an amazing week. Peace.